Howdy, and this is Howdy. We're back to the channel. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't check out the last video, make sure you go and check it out. Enjoy your stay. Have a good day. Keep like, comment, subscribe. Today, we got a video from Everything Always. Breaking new characters confirmed for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, the indelible hype for Avengers Doomsday is starting to build the same way it did for Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and it's all rooted in this idea that a lot of these characters we're about to see on screen, most of which who have not met each other before, are ultimately going to come together to fight side by side and try to bring down Dr. Doom. And with this first round of casting announcements, including X-Men characters like Cyclops and Beast, you can already tell that Marvel Studios is really going for it as far as the number of characters we're going to have in just Avengers Doomsday, let alone Secret Wars. You add Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom to all of that, a brand new character we haven't seen in the MCU.
Bro, having all these people on set gotta be fun, bro. It's like coming to class with all your homies, you know, and you see all your homies in there, bro. And probably like one or two randoms. And then they become your friends too.
Almost as if you forget that there could be other characters like they introduced during Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, some of which we've never seen before. That's where we pick up with today's extremely exciting update, and coming from a trusted industry insider source that Marvel Studios is planning to introduce brand new characters here at the end of the multiverse saga. We're going to break down exactly where this came from and what they said, and then try to add some context to it, exactly which characters he may be referring to because of just how important they are to the Secret Wars storyline. We're breaking it all down, new characters joining the MCU in the next two Avengers films, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. Again, thank you to everyone who's been subscribing recently, guys. We are growing at an insane pace. If you haven't already, I just kindly invite you to do so. It is the #1 thing you can do to support us here at the channel as content creators. Plus, it enters you for the giveaways if you want. Stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this latest scoop comes from Cryptic HD Quality. You guys can follow him over on Twitter at Cryptic4KQual. He's been around in the community for about 3 or 4 years and has almost an impeccable track record. He started with calling when trailers were going to be dropped, descriptions, and even posting some early TV spots himself. And since then, again, he has been extremely ubiquitous and extremely accurate with his information, so take that as you will. This was his latest update for Avengers Doomsday and Wars. Quote, I hear they will introduce a few one-off heroes and villains we've never seen for both Doomsday and Secret Wars. You'll probably never see them again.
I don't know how I feel about one-off villains and heroes, bro. But then at the same time, the more I think about it, I kind of understand, because it's a lot of characters, bro, in Marvel, bro. And there's probably so many to the point where throughout everything we've seen so far with Marvel, bro, they probably kept out a bunch of characters that should have been in the story. Maybe. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna sit here and act like I've been a Marvel fan since I came out of the womb. You know what I'm saying? I became a Marvel fan when I was like probably like 10 or something like that. I just know it's a lot of characters in Marvel, bro, and they gotta somehow show them on screen. At least I know they want to show them on screen before they get to the next saga. And in that next saga, a lot of those characters not even a part of that saga, so it'll be no point to even show them at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like for Blade, we've been waiting on the Blade movie for a cool minute, but they keep making the script, canceling the script, finalizing the script, cancel the script, get a director, fire the director, or the director just decides to leave because he like, bro, when we gonna start this, bro, I got shit to do.
After the saga ends.
And then by that time,
he also went on to add the clarification, quote, when I say never seen before, I don't mean original characters. They're not making up people out of nowhere, characters that already exist but have never been seen before on the silver screen. So he's not referring to characters like What If when they've gone ahead and forged new ones. He's just saying there's a lot of Marvel characters out there, and we're going to get to see some one-offs. Now, looking back in Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, Marvel Studios and the Russos decided to do this, but very judiciously. They only included characters they needed for specific parts of the story, like Thanos and his Black Order gave the Avengers people to fight against in the early parts, Act 1 and Act 2, that weren't Thanos. So they definitely served an important role in the story, and of course Eitri when Thor needed to forge his axe. But where they could have put any character on Vormir, literally any celestial being, guarding the Soul Stone, they decided to make it the end of Red Skull's storyline. So they didn't just go to that well and want to include an old Marvel character. And we know there were some early ideas about.
I don't know if y'all heard Well, I ain't gonna talk about because I might make it a video. You know what I'm saying? It might become a video.
Doctor Strange
Yeah,
talking to the
that.
Living Tribunal,
There's
they
a lot of
decided
things
to
going
go
on
away
with
from
these
that.
characters, bro.
However, this is Avengers Secret Wars, and there
Let's
are
bring
some
it up. I ain't
major
gonna talk about
characters they could use for this saga that are super important for Secret Wars that we don't already have in the MCU, and would also fit the qualification that we probably wouldn't see them again after this. The first one I'm referring to is very obviously the Beyonder. Remember, the Russos just said that they, of course, grew up on the 1980s Secret Wars run and will be drawing from both that and the 2015 Jonathan Hickman run. And in both cases, the Beyonder is a major part of that storyline. Now, I've theorized here at the channel why and how Marvel Studios might want to omit the Beyonder, because they've already positioned Loki as the central point of power in the multiverse. And the whole reason Doctor Doom wants the Beyonder's power in the comic books is to become God Emperor Doom, seize his power, and remake the world as he sees fit into Battleworld. You could
Okay, so Loki, from what I heard, bro, Loki is very important, bro. So are they trying to say, as of right now, Loki and the Beyonder are like the same type of level of power, or like they got the same rank, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know in the comments, bro, because I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning. Some things I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So let me know, bro. Like, what is Loki right now? Like, I'm pretty sure he's a god, but I'm saying, like, what do y'all think he's going to be doing in these movies coming up, bro? Because I'm honestly thinking he gonna pop up in every single movie that's gonna be shown coming up now, bro. Because he's holding everything together. He's holding all the timelines and stuff like that, right? That's like all the timelines and events or whatever. He holding it all together, bro. He holding it down for all of us, bro. He holding it down. We gotta give props, but he holding it down, bro. You know what I'm saying? So if Doctor Doom is trying to get the Beyonder's power, is he trying to get the Beyonder's power to fight Loki or to get Loki? Does he want to hurt Loki, or is Loki somebody you're not supposed to hurt because his position in the world? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to know. Like, is he somebody that's untouchable?
Do this by him simply taking Loki's place at the center of the multiverse. They've put a lot of setup into that. We have no Beyonder. It is a lot of explainer. It is a lot of film to try to involve that character. So on one side of the coin, it seems impossible to involve the Beyonder in this late. Find a reason and a place for him in the story, and also introduce Doctor Doom, all these X-Men, etc. On the other side of the coin, he's always been a central part of the story. Again, both in the 1980s and in 2015. And so when we hear one-off characters, immediately the Beyonder is what comes to forethought. Now, the other character side by side with this is Molecule Man, but in the comics, Molecule Man's place was basically as the anchor being character idea that they just introduced in Deadpool and Wolverine, with obviously the idea of using that in context for the next two Avengers films. And because we know, at least from Deadpool and Wolverine, that Wolverine was one of the anchor beings across the multiverse, very likely they're going to stay away from Molecule Man. Again, these characters have immensely consequential.
This is why I think Deadpool plays a big, bro. If y'all ain't seen my last video, go see my last video, bro. This is why I think Deadpool plays a huge role when it comes to like bringing people together, because he's already traveled different timelines and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, he only went there to different timelines to do one specific thing, but as far as I know, bro, he's one of the only few people that's done it pretty much successfully, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's. And he's ran into everybody. You know, he ran into everybody in that void area, or I think that's what the place is called, the void. You know, where he met Johnny Storms, Chris Evans, Johnny Storm, and all that stuff. That's why I think he should be playing that role. He shouldn't join the Avengers or the X-Men, bro. He should just be that person who brings people together. He should be like the scout. You know what I'm saying? The recruiter. You know what I'm saying? For the whole. You know what I mean? That's what he should be, bro. Like the God recruiter or something.
And I think that would be fire, a ton of explainer and context to put them in place. And since Marvel didn't do that with the Fantastic Four, at least we don't think they're going to, etc., it would be much easier for Marvel to use the chess pieces they've got on the board, like replace the Beyonder with Loki, and then replace anchor beings that are already superheroes we have, instead of introducing Molecule Man. That's my take. Now, this leaves the door open for less consequential characters, some of which I have been calling for so long, say like Beta Ray Bill. Remember, Beta Ray Bill is a Corbinite, and the Rousseau specifically went to their planet and during Avengers Endgame for that flashback scene between Gamora and Nebula. We also know that there were ideas of having Beta Ray Bill CGI as a part of Ragnarok, and instead he just became a statue on the side of the Champions Tower. So
that's how
Beta
big
Ray
he
Bill,
was?
first and foremost, and just as a fan, and then characters like him, because using this logic, these are characters that Beta Ray Bill looks and acts like Thor. If you've recently, maybe he'll be a part of the Thor Corps, but you don't have to spend a lot of time
like
explaining
Thor?
who it is.
Wait, so he got thunder powers like Thor, bro? So he's just a creature reincarnation of Thor. That's pretty much okay.
Conversely, if they were to include
cool
the character like Eternity that we saw in
What's
Thor
his
Love
weapon?
and Thunder, then that is a massive, massive consequence.
Not gonna lie, bro. When I've seen, I'm not some scenes in Marvel do be creeping me out, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Like this scene right here, bro. It low key freaked me out, especially because if you know most people got a flat screen. You know what I'm saying? And I was sitting a little close when I was watching the movie because I was locked in. You know what I'm saying? I was locked in. This creeped me out, bro. I don't know well, I know why, but it's just when they do stuff like this, bro. Sometimes I'd be like, bro, there's some truth behind to this. You know, this place got to be real, bro. You know, like they didn't just make this out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? Like they seen this in real life. That's how I be feeling sometimes because I don't know. This just give me an eerie feeling.
Character, there has to be some
It give me
exposition, some dialogue explaining his whole
now.
role or what he's doing, unless they make it clearly evident through on-screen action. Again, that just requires a lot of time. So it's going to be really interesting to see who these one-off characters are that Marvel Studios decides to visit during the Secret Wars saga and then never again. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below, though. If you had your pick
I do wonder who
tier,
it is,
third tier, even fourth tier character that we might not see again but could be utilized in Secret Wars, especially during the final battle, who you got? I'm all ears as always.
Hey, who y'all think is gonna be one-off villains and heroes, bro? I don't want them to do that, but I understand why they have to. You know, because they in crunch time mode, bro. Like they gotta push things out, bro. So I understand it. But who do y'all think they gonna do the one-offs for, though?